it shows audible for me. I hope you guys also can hear me. Yeah, thank you, Prashant, for letting me know. All right, so now I'll continue with the session. So this session is going to be a pretty straightforward session. It'll be held in two parts. One part I would be talking about, I'll be covering. I will cover the part where we discuss about cloud computing and discuss about the opportunities and yeah, so I'll just show the agenda exactly. So these are the things we'll be discussing from my end. And once I complete, I will be having a Q&A for 5 minutes. And once I complete all the questions, I'll hand over the session to a senior course advisor who will be talking more about the training and about the career which you can take up. So basically, cloud computing is a generic term. There are so many so many job roles under this particular term, and you can go for any of that job role, and according to that you can choose your career path. All right, just give me 1 second, guys. All right, let's start. So why consider cloud computing? Why not other technologies? There are so many different domains which you can go ahead, but why exactly should you go with cloud computing? So one reason is whenever a technology or an industry is growing, if you start learning and get into that industry right when it's growing, you grow with it, and you will basically be a senior or an expert in whatever you want to do. So I just want to show some numbers and stats which shows that cloud computing is growing exponentially right now, and this would be the right time to get into it. So over here you could see this is worldwide public cloud service revenue forecast, and so they've split it into 5 different parts. There is PaaS, infrastructure as a service, software as a service. So they have split it into multiple parts, and you can see all different types of cloud. The expenditure, sorry, the incoming revenue is just increasing and it's not decreasing, and it will keep increasing. By next year, this is the forecasted numbers. And yeah, so basically, when investment gets higher in a particular domain, so in that case, if they invest more, obviously they're going to hire more people, and the need for cloud computing engineers is going to increase. So it will be different. So there would be administrators, there would be architects, there would be so many different roles, but the demand for cloud computing professionals is steadily going to increase. Yeah, so another one is that this is just the spending from the top three cloud providers, that is AWS, Azure, and GCP. And over here, you can see by quarter since 2018 and till 2019. So basically, the cloud infrastructure services, so just infrastructure services has grown 37%. And yeah, so even right now, the public cloud market share is pretty similar. AWS owns 31% of the public cloud market share. Azure is around 15-16%. Google Cloud around 7-8%. And then comes the others. So they are the top three. And yeah, so you can choose any cloud computing provider. So basically, you want to learn, you can go ahead with AWS or Azure or GCP. All three are great. It's not that you will just have to go with one. All right. Okay. So over here, these are again some numbers which I got from various platforms like Forbes and Gartner. And over here, you can see Gartner has predicted that 95% of cloud security failures will be the customer's fault, not the cloud computing provider's fault. This basically shows their investment in cloud security and also cloud security services. And then over here, so basically, of the organizations using cloud services, more than 75% indicate they have a cloud first strategy. That basically means, let's say there are 100 companies using cloud, 75 of those companies want to make cloud computing their main infrastructural what is that? Yeah, so basically they completely want to abolish their on-premise setup and bring everything to the cloud computing platform, right? So, and other things you can just read from here. So, public cloud soaring to $331 billion by 2022, according to Gartner. Cloud computing is crucial to the future. So, again, this is from Forbes. And so, there is an article in monster.com, which is a pretty famous job portal. Again, why it's a great time to start a job in cloud computing. So, you can just go through these articles, look at the numbers and statistics. And that's why I wanted to show you. And some top companies like Reddit, Facebook, Google, Amazon. Basically, every single company right now is using cloud, and every major company obviously needs cloud computing. And without cloud computing or without the help of cloud computing, no companies could function right now. So what I basically mean here is, if you learn cloud computing, you could get into one of these major companies as a cloud engineer or cloud architect or a cloud developer or a cloud administrator. So whatever role you want to go into, it's in your hand, but you can get into a top company. And so in Indeed, you can just search with the keyword cloud computing. So I'm just showing you the jobs which I searched for a little while back and just checked it. So you can just check in the job portals, and you can check there is always jobs available under cloud computing. And if you have the right skills, you can get into it. And also, one more thing everybody looks into is the average salary. And so, cloud engineer is a pretty generic term. And so, basically, a cloud engineer could be a cloud admin, a cloud architect, a cloud uh, what is that, developer. So, there could be anything. So, it's a pretty generic term which I wanted to include, because this is more about how to make a career in cloud computing, not how to become a solutions architect or how to become a developer. Uh, so I just wanted to keep it generic. So now the average salary, you can again check it in various job portals. So I checked in ZipRecruiter and Indeed.com. The average salary in US is $128,000 per annum. In India, it's 7 lakhs per annum, and in UK, it's 60,000 pounds per annum. So this is the average salary. So as I told you, this is the average salary. That basically means, as a junior or as a beginner, you would basically start with a lesser salary than that. But as you grow, as you gain experience, let's say you become a senior cloud engineer, you could earn up to 20-25 lakhs per annum. So I've seen these numbers posted on Glassdoor and many other job portals. And if you have the right skills, you can also get into it. All right. So now the skills to have in cloud computing. All right. So cloud service providers, knowing a popular cloud service provider like AWS, Azure, or GCP. So most probably you guys would have had a question right now, which is better, AWS or Azure, or AWS or GCP, or yeah, basically you would obviously have this question. So the thing is, no cloud provider is better than another cloud provider. All cloud providers provide this same service or similar kinds of service, because they are all cloud providers, they provide similar services which is required for infrastructural purposes. All right, so you could choose AWS or Azure or GCP. It totally depends on your perspective. So let's say you're going to work for a company which uses Azure. In that case, you should learn Azure. If you want to apply for a company which is using AWS, go for AWS. So it depends on the company you want to work for or the company you are currently working in. So under that, there are various services. Again, so EC2 app services. So as a beginner, you wouldn't know what exactly they are. But once you get into and start learning AWS or start learning Azure, you would obviously learn and understand more about it. And then networking. So why I say networking here is, so understanding the very basics of networking is really important while you get into cloud. So let's say you're launching a server. So when you launch a server will have a public IP address, it'll have a private IP address, it'll have a DNS name. So you might be alien to these terms. So it's better to have an idea of all these terms before you get into cloud computing. So understand what is an IP address. So that's a very basic thing. So understanding what is an IP address, understanding what is the subnet mask, understanding about common protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, SSH. So learning these basic networking will help you when you get into cloud, because obviously cloud itself is a network which is just on a different day on a data center on the cloud providers infrastructure. So basically, let's say you are creating an architecture on AWS. Obviously, that architecture is created in AWS's physical data center, and that particular architecture, yeah, so it is basically a network. So everything is network, and learning the basics of networking will help you. And then Linux skills, command line Linux skills are important because 90% of the cloud servers run on Linux. So again, if you get into a company, most probably there is a 90% chance that they will use Linux as their cloud servers rather than a Windows server, or yeah, so rather than a Windows server. So learning Linux, I would say it's a must if you want to get into cloud. All right. Okay. So other skills, so DevOps. So again, most of you would have questions like, so if I get into cloud computing, can I get into DevOps? What are the tools will I have to learn? So again, to start off with the very basic, start with GitHub, that is Git, and then you can learn some major tools, major containerization tools like Docker, Kubernetes, and there are other CI/CD tools like Jenkins, Azure Pipelines. So there are various tools which you can start from. But if you want to start from cloud, so basically, if you don't, sorry, if you have not started with cloud, then please start with cloud first, and then check out what you can learn or what you can do in cloud computing. All right. Sorry, what you can do in DevOps. All right. Okay. So programming and database skills. Um, Programming skills is important if you are looking for a certain job role which will require you to know programming. For example, cloud, as I told you, cloud engineer is just a generic term. So there is solutions architect. It's a particular job role, and there is administrator, cloud administrator, and there is cloud developer. So if you want to become a cloud administrator, you do not need any programming skills. But if you want to become a solutions architect, you would have to know at least one programming language, one high-level programming language like Java or Python or C Sharp. It doesn't matter. You will have to know one high-level programming language. And then if you want to become a cloud developer, in that case, you should know how to do software development, and also you should know about cloud computing. Okay, so these are some skills, and again, database skills is basically learning SQL is like Linux. SQL and Linux are pretty common for every single IT job. Whatever application you are developing, if you're going to use a relational database, the relational database will have SQL running on it. All right. Um, okay, now security and disaster recovery, and in this case, um, this basically would be theoretical when you learn, but when you get into a company, you will be setting up certain best practices in order to make sure that the architecture you've created or the application which is running on cloud is performing properly, and also there is no security issues or vulnerabilities. So that basically uh, you set up security properly. And then disaster recovery, again, this is basically, let's say you have your application running on one particular region, and let's say you've not migrated it or replicated it in another region. And if that particular region goes down for a couple of minutes, then your application would suffer a crash, or your application would suffer a downtime for that particular period of time. Okay. So if it suffers downtime in that particular period of time, in that case, what happens is uh, your application's usage would be decreased, and you would obviously have a loss in that case. So making sure that your application is replicated in another region. So whenever one region goes down, the other region would still be running, and the incoming traffic will be diverted to the application which is running on the other region. So this is another major skill you should have. All right. And you guys can keep putting on your questions in the question section and in the chat section. So once I complete the part, I'll be answering them. So who's a cloud engineer? I'm going to skip this part because I'm going to talk about the top skills you should have as a cloud engineer. That is top skills in the sense, top skills uh, as a cloud professional. So this is, I took this from Indeed.com. So Indeed.com basically did a survey on various job descriptions they have, and they've decided the top 5 skills according to the number of times a particular skill has been mentioned in a job description. So AWS was the most mentioned job description for a cloud professional, and then came Python, came Linux, then shell scripting and Azure. So these are the top 5 skills which a cloud engineer should know. So again, you could know Amazon Web Services or learn Azure, but learning one high-level programming language is required for most cloud roles. Linux is a must. Shell scripting is also required because sometimes you might not be able to automate a task using a cloud automation tool. In that case, you would have to automate it using shell scripting. And in that case, you should know shell scripting or scripting using Python or using Perl. Okay, so this is the thing. And all right. So you want to get into cloud. In that case, there are various job roles. You can get into cloud from various different profiles. Let's say you are from a development background. Let's say you are an expert in .NET. You can learn cloud and become a cloud developer. If you're from, if you're an IT admin or Linux admin or Windows admin, again, you can learn cloud and become a cloud administrator. And if you're from even tech support, or if you're a support executive, in that case, you could learn and you can become a cloud operations engineer, or you can become a cloud support engineer, and then from that particular role you can switch to solutions architect or cloud developer as well. So whatever role you are in currently, you can still switch to cloud engineering or any cloud job role. So these are the top 5 job roles: cloud solutions architect, cloud developer, cloud sysops admin, cloud DevOps engineer, and cloud support engineer. So cloud support engineer, solutions architect, sysops admin, developer, these are the basic roles. Cloud DevOps engineer, you cannot directly become a cloud DevOps engineer. You should have the right skills for it, and you should have done real-time projects, and you should have done what is that? You should have some real-time exposure, and it could come from work experience, or it could come from you doing projects, and yeah. So basically, you're doing projects and making sure they reflect on your resume. Okay, so these are the top job roles, and let's say you could go with solutions architect. So if you want to go with solutions architect, in that case, you should know one high-level programming language. If you want to go with developer, in that case, you should know software development. It could be web development, it could be mobile application development, but you should know. If you want to become a cloud sysops administrator, you do not need any programming. You just have to know that particular cloud tool and how to monitor and report using them. And then cloud DevOps engineer. So for this, you should know cloud as well as various DevOps tools and DevOps principles. And finally, cloud support engineer is basically a person who guides other, basically guides their clients or their company's cloud infrastructure to basically whenever there's a problem, they troubleshoot it and make sure the solution is in place. So these are the top job roles. And so you guys also might have a doubt, or you might have a question on what certification could pay me more, or what certification should I take. So the highest paid certification according to Forbes and Gartner, so it's basically Google Cloud Certified Cloud Architect Professional Certification. But the professional certification is pretty tough. I would suggest you to go with an associate certification in AWS if you are a very beginner to cloud, and if you're not sure to choose what cloud provider you should take up. So if you're not sure about choosing, if you're not sure about AWS or Azure or GCP, I would say go with AWS. And I would say go with AWS Solutions Architect if you're not sure. All right, because the AWS Solutions Architect pretty much covers and keeps its foot in all areas. And if you become and learn Solutions Architect and get that certification, it'll be really like it would be a really good first step for you. All right. So how to get started? You are already watching this video from our YouTube channel live, or you're in the webinar attending this particular webinar live. So you've already taken your first step to learn. And I would suggest if you want to learn more about cloud or AWS or Azure, we have complete tutorials on our YouTube channel for free. And you can start learning from there, or you can check out Intellipaat's blog. Again, we have a lot of free content which is very informative, and you can start learning from there. Um, All right. So now I'll just answer a few questions. Um, if you guys have any questions, please put down right now, and I'll be answering them. All right. So sorry, guys. So the people in the webinar can put down your questions in the question section, and I'll be answering them. And so once I hand over my session, so that person would be a senior course advisor, and they won't be answering any technical questions. If you have questions related to your career, or if you have questions related to like, let's say you are from a different background and you want to know how to shift uh, from your current career or from your current job role into another job role, in that case, they would be the better person to answer that. All right, so there is a question here. Hi, I'm a SQL developer. So which part will you suggest? So I think your question is that which certification you should take up. As an SQL developer, you could either go with the solutions architect or you could go with the AWS Cloud Developer Certification. So this question was asked from Swas. And there is a next question: what is the cost of the cloud developer certification? So if you ask about the official cost of the developer certification, so if it's from AWS, it is to write the examination, it is 150 USD. And yeah, so the certification from us, I think it's available in the website. I'm not exactly sure what you should take up. And again, from Ritesh, I'm an Android developer. Which course would you suggest? So again, I would suggest you, as you're already a developer, cloud developer or AWS developer would be the right choice. All right. Okay. So I'll just check out questions from YouTube as well. Uh, I have 1.7 years experience in application support engineering. So this is from Prashant. I would suggest you to go with the AWS developer certification. That would be the right one for you. From Can I start after my graduation? Yes, you can start after your graduation, Shrevansh. We are infra support. How can we upgrade our infrastructure with our skills? I'm not sure about this question. I don't get this from Abhinay. Sayandi, for solutions architect, what are the skills is required expect Linux? So it's a great question. So as I told you, you should know one high-level programming language like Python or Java or C Sharp. Then you should know Linux, you should know shell scripting, and also the adjacent cloud provider tool. So it could be AWS or it could be Azure. All right. My programming language is weak. What should I take up? What certification? This question is from Vivek. Again, a great question and a commonly asked question. So in that case, go with SysOps Administrator certification from AWS. Um, all right, so I'll now answer some questions from the webinar also. So from Tejaswini, I'm a .NET developer. Um, I want to become a DevOps engineer. Start learning Azure. Can you suggest the must-have skills? Okay, so obviously start learning Azure and start learning certain DevOps tools. If you want to exactly know what DevOps tools to learn, you can check out our course page where we would have mentioned all the DevOps tools which are required to be learned. And yeah, so basically that. Because so I cannot list every single DevOps tool. So you can start with Git, Docker, Kubernetes, Puppet, Jenkins, Ansible, ELKs. So you can start with these, but first start with Azure. As you were saying, you have started with learning it. So once you complete it, then go ahead with the DevOps tools. Next question is from Prashant. What is the pathway to become a cloud service provider? So cloud service provider is basically means AWS or Azure, so they are called cloud service providers. So you could become a cloud engineer by learning the cloud services. Or partnering with AWS or Azure or Google services is a better idea. So if you want to become a cloud service provider, so in that case, you would have to invest a lot of money. So you'll have to invest $1 billion or more than that. First of all, you have to get a place, you have to have the infrastructure, you have to buy the physical infrastructure, and then you'll have to set up everything. And so it's obviously a lot of work. So AWS is owned by Amazon, Azure is owned by Microsoft, GCP is owned by Google. So they have the funds to set up the cloud data centers, but not a common person. So that's exactly why they are. So, but obviously, it's better to partner with a cloud provider. Um, okay, so I'm going to answer two more questions which are over here. Is it helpful in freelancing? Yes, it is absolutely helpful because you could set up a cloud infrastructure in an AWS account, and you could just transfer the account to another person who you are freelancing for. And basically, then the billing will be set up to their payment account and it will just go ahead with that. Yes, it's really helpful. So final question I'm going to answer is from British. So I'm an Android developer with in a small company. How can I get a higher salary or by which course? So if you want to get into cloud, then obviously the right certification for you would be the AWS developer certification. So once you do that, and once you can basically start applying for cloud developer roles, and from applying for cloud developer roles, you can obviously get into one, and obviously your salary will be much higher than your current. Um, all right. Um, I think I pretty much answered all the questions. Um, okay, one last question I want to answer because this is a commonly asked question. So this is from Surajit. So which certificate will be best for a cloud support engineer? So I would suggest you just take up solutions architect itself because that's a pretty basic certification for anyone who are confused in any job role and want to get into cloud. So take up the solutions architect one. All right, so just wait for a couple of minutes, guys. The senior course advisor will be joining and talk more about the training and how you can switch careers and more about that. So give us a couple of minutes, sorry, give us a couple of seconds, and the session will be handed over.
Hi guys, this is Charles from Intellipaat. Well, I am the senior course advisor and a career counselor. I hope today's webinar was useful and informative. So I'm going to show you where you can access the complete course details, the benefits, why you should choose Intellipaat, everything in detail. So here we are on the Intellipaat homepage. All I'm doing is typing in AWS, for instance. And let's straight away go to the Cloud Architect Certification Master's Program. So if you have any questions in the interim, please feel free to drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to answer to your queries. So this is a multi-cloud program which is very hot in the market. So this is a combination of 10 plus courses, which is in collaboration with IBM, like you see, and Microsoft. So this has all top three clouds which are currently ruling the market, I would say, which is AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So like you see, there are three programs which are the top three cloud, along with DevOps and Python. Now, DevOps and cloud are like husband and wife. So whoever wants to get into cloud should know DevOps or vice versa. So having a basic understanding of a programming language is again a must or needed, because any job profile that you check, whichever region you're based out of, whether you're in India, Europe, or US or Canada, you will come across companies asking for a programming language basic and Linux and DevOps tools and cloud. So multi-cloud is preferably hot in the market. So I would always recommend go with the multi-cloud. So whether you are a beginner, whether you are an experienced professional, depending upon your experience, you can expect 30 to 50% hike from your past package. But I would recommend, no matter which profile you belong to go with multi-cloud. Now, we are in business for over 7 years with over 700,000 learners. We cater to over 155 different regions. And we're the only company to offer you a lifetime access. There is no expiration. You can attend unlimited classes. You can retake the classes as many times as you want. Nobody's going to stop you or question you. Instructor is live. Any questions you have, you're free to ask. The instructor is going to answer to you. And all the classes are recorded and handed over to your account for your reference. So any questions you have, feel free to ask me while I take it through the program. So let's straight away go to the course content. So before that, you see what roles can a cloud architect play. So once you complete the course, you will be in a position to either become a cloud architect, AWS Solutions Architect, Cloud Transformation Architect, Azure Architect, Cloud Solutions Architect, or Enterprise Architect. These are just to name a few positions that you'll be qualified to work once you complete the program. So here we see the Cloud Architect Certification course content. So let's check AWS. This is 36 hours of duration of training. You'll be literally learning from the very basic, which is what is cloud computing, from that basic. And if you notice, every module has hands-on exercise. So this is purely a practical learning platform, not any sort of theoretical or boring lectures. Every module has hands-on exercises, guys. So this is a proper practical learning, because we do not work with any institute trainers or presenters who gives you lectures or reads from a book. We only work with a working professional who has 15, 20 years of experience in IT, who is going to train you everything in a practical manner through hands-on exercises, quizzes, and assignments. And this is something important I want to show you, which is AWS projects. Now, everybody knows every company wants to hire a person who has an experience. So what they're talking about is hands-on experience. They don't care which company you worked prior. All they care is, do you have hands-on experience equivalent to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and so on, depending upon the profile that you're applying for. So these are the only real-time industry projects which is ideally going to help you become proficient with the technology and to have those equivalent hands-on experience. So we are going to provide you the necessary lab environment for you to learn, play, and practice. We provide you lifetime technical support assistance whenever you are stuck or whenever you have any queries. We are there to help you, guide you, and assist you. So you also get an opportunity to learn through case studies as well. And all the programs below are exactly in the same format, from the very basic to advanced, step by step, with hands-on exercises and real-time industry projects. So every program here is exactly designed in the same format. Now here we see project work, so which is projects for all the 10 programs that we offer in this particular course. So you see we are categorized from beginner, intermediate to advanced. So you'll be taking one step at a one step at a time. So you'll be doing the beginner projects and slowly moving into intermediate and advanced. So we have technical team who works around the clock. So not to worry, even if you are stuck, we are going to help you, guide and assist you. So moving further, you see Cloud Architect Certification. So the course itself is aligned or designed for you to clear all these certification exams. So tomorrow, let's say you're interested in appearing Azure or AWS exam, do let us know, because we provide you a mock quiz. All you have to do is take our mock quiz, score 60%. That means you can easily clear the official exam in just one go. We have more than 95% of passing aggregate. So these are the two course completion certifications that you'll be getting, one from IBM and the other one is from Microsoft. Okay, so we also provide you job assistance, guys. Job assistance works in 3 steps. Step 1 is we are going to rework on your resume. Step 2 is we are going to prepare you for the interview with a list of mock question and answers. And the final step is we are going to give you an access to our job portal. So apart from marketing your resume on LinkedIn or other open source platforms, so you can also use Intellipaat job portal. So your possibilities of lining up interviews literally increases. So this is the job assistance that we provide to you. Now let's discuss about the schedule and pricing. So like you see, we have fresh batches, both weekend batches. So the cost for self-paced is a pre-recorded videos, 40,014 rupees, and online is 56,943 rupees. So there is an additional GST added to this, so you get 10%. But whoever reaches out to me first, you can either WhatsApp me on my Indian number or my US number, or drop me an email. You get a flat 50% discount, which is purely on a first come first serve basis. And I just have one coupon with me. So whoever reaches out to me first, you get a flat 50% discount, and that is purely on a first come first serve basis. So if you're in India, the website has the Indian standard timing, so you can check the schedule on the website. But if you're in the US or Northern America, the weekday batch will be Monday to Thursday, 4 days a week. The timings will be 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the weekend batch is Saturday and Sunday, 10:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time to 1:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. So this is your weekend batch schedule. So you can either do a weekday batch or you can either do a weekend batch. So any questions so far, guys? So I see we are a small scale web development company. You reached several times since we received a response. Was we received was we'll get back to you. So if you're looking for in-corporate training, please feel free to drop me a WhatsApp message or an email. I'll definitely help you out with all the information that you need. Whatever course you're interested in, we offer 150 plus technologies, whether it's Salesforce or cloud, web development, we have all the programs. Kindly drop me an email with your requirements, so I will get back to you today itself with all the information. So before we wind up the session, I want to show you one last program. So you see here something that says Advanced Certification Program. So I'm selecting the third one. This is Advanced Certification in Cloud Computing and DevOps. So this is in collaboration with IIT. So everybody knows IIT. People who are in US or North America or Europe in this webinar, if you don't know what IIT is, IIT stands for Indian Institute of Technology. To give you an example, global CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, himself graduated from IIT. So this program is a 7 month comprehensive program conducted only during the weekends, and 35 to 40% of the course content is covered by IT professors themselves, making sure your fundamentals are pretty strong. The remaining 60 to 65% of the course content is covered by industry experts who are working as cloud engineers and DevOps engineers. It's a mixture of both. And this is a course completion, alumni certification of completion from EICT IIT Roorkee. And here is the list of roles that you can apply for once you complete the program: cloud architect, DevOps architect, senior DevOps engineer, cloud and DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, and AWS DevOps architect. So this also focuses on multi-cloud, which is AWS and Azure. So here you can see the list of tools or the list of skills that you'll be able to master. And these are the professors who are going to train you. So here is the complete modules. So you have list of 16 modules that are going to be dealt with the live instructor on a WebEx. And this is only during the weekends, 3 hours Saturdays, 3 hours on Sundays, and this goes for 7 months. So, and here you see the hands-on from the beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And you'll also have a dedicated manager for this. So you will also, get a job interview guarantee. So whether you're based out of India, US, or Canada, these are the 3 regions that we cater to. So we are going to guarantee minimum 3, maximum 5 interviews. So that means we schedule interview for you so that you need not break your mind of applying jobs. So whether you're based out of India, US, or Canada, we schedule minimum 3, maximum 5 interviews on the completion of the program. So 7 months is for the program, 8th month we prepare you for the interview, and 9th month we schedule the interview for you whether you are in India, US, or Canada. So this is 100% job interview guarantee program. So this is what happens on the 8th month mock interview preparation, one-on-one career mentoring sessions, and we build your LinkedIn profile and your resume. 9th month we schedule the interview for you. So any questions, guys, so far, please feel free to drop your message. I'll be more than happy to answer. And this particular program is 75,000 plus GST. And the reason why the cost is pretty cheap is only because of the government subsidy for COVID. And the October batch onwards, the cost is going to be more because there won't be any government subsidy allowed in it. So whoever comes and reaches out to me first, they get to save a lot of money. And this particular program, the cost is going to be revised to 1,75,000 plus GST, and there won't be any government subsidy after this batch. So if you're interested, please contact me on my WhatsApp, Indian WhatsApp or US WhatsApp, or my email ID. I'll be more than happy to assist you to the right program and help you in the right direction, and also help you save your money. So to understand which program is best for you, I would definitely need to know you better, and I want to know which region you're based off, what's your education background, what's your overall experience, is it IT or non-IT, what's your package, what you're aiming towards. A lot of criteria falls into picture before I guide you in the right direction. So I've been getting a lot of messages. I'll definitely reach out to you guys after this presentation. Please give me 5 to 10 minutes. I will call you guys and help you with the registrations, and also answer your questions, and also help you save money. So thank you for being patient. So that's it for today's presentation and webinar. I hope it was useful and helpful. And I wish each and every one of the attendees have a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.